Welcome to the Trying to Be Better podcast with Joel and Steve.
Now can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear
I can
me?
hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You sound great.
Is this thanks? So do you.
What's going on?
I don't know.
We had a stutter start. However that began, you need
Hey, if we can do it,
that's
we can
right.
do it.
You need to put whatever we recorded a minute ago out there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, why not?
Hi everybody.
This is real as it
Hi everybody.
gets.
Welcome to the Trying to Be Better podcast.
Trying to have a podcast
With Joel and Steve. My name is Joel.
and
we're
Steve.
Trying for a podcast today.
We're trying to have a podcast.
That's the bar we've set is, can we do a podcast today?
Well, I think the jury's still out on that
The jury is out. What does that mean?
Yeah.
That means that the jury is still deliberating. Is that where
Yes, that's what it means. Yeah. The facts have been presented. The jury's
the
still
jury's
deliberating.
out? They're not in. The jury's out on.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't taught specifics on the judicial branch of our government very well.
Which is a real shame these days that most people haven't.
What is RICO law?
It's racketeering and something. It's used to it was cooked up by the feds to bring down mobsters.
Didn't one Rudy Giuliani have a lot to do with that law being
You may be right about that, but I can't speak authoritatively on it. But yeah, maybe it's about that time.
According to the Twitterverse or the TikTok sphere, Giuliani had a lot to do with the RICO law being a thing, and now he's
well. In that case, that's hilarious.
that's goes around, comes around, motherfucker.
I guess.
How are you, man?
Fuck around and find out. I'm not great. I'm not. Had we done this yesterday, it would have been a short podcast because I'm better than I was 24 hours ago.
Can you?
I just got a work bomb lobbed in my lap again yesterday, and I was like, fuck all this.
Fuck all this.
Mm-hmm.
How are you navigating that?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Joel.
Well, I mean, it's been a while since we've talked about actually, spiritual betterment, maybe. So.
Right. Well, what I did was I took some deep breaths.
Yeah.
And then I went into work for a little while to get some facts together. And then I came home. And then I went for an hour-long walk.
Yeah.
Walked 3 miles.
Yeah.
And listened to some music and a podcast. And then I spent about an hour composing an email with my facts to my boss. Yeah. Hit send. And we talked about it this morning or this afternoon, and nothing was resolved. I said that I thought the situation was bullshit. And it's been bullshit for a number of years, actually. And we can keep doing the same actions, expecting different results. Fine. That's where I left.
That's what we call insanity. But the sanity.
No.
What?
That's called protecting one very special ego,
which is
at all costs.
Which at a group level is insane.
I didn't say that.
I'm saying that in a general way. If a group is catering to one individual's needs all the time, and it keeps getting screwed up, and nothing changes about the way in which they do that, that seems to be an insane way to work.
No. That's called organizational communication.
That's called capitalism. I don't know.
It's called the goose that lays the golden eggs gets whatever the fuck they want.
Oh, I see. But what I hear that's sane, what I was going to say earlier, is you seem to have navigated that with some sanity.
Well, I don't know about that. I not as well as I would have liked.
Would it have been worse had you not taken a few deep breaths and taken a walk?
Oh, 100%. Most definitely. And like, well, while I was actually on a Zoom meeting earlier with which your wife was attending, and she's like, "How you doing?" I'm like, I'm pissed. Like, I am hot. Like, I am really mad. And she's like, "Oh, cool. Yeah, right there with you." I'm like, "Sweet," like it's nice to have that. It's nice to have a safe space to constructively vent our emotions, and just to have it be like held. And they're like, well, what can we do to fix that? Or, like, no, oh yeah, that sucks. Okay, cool. Me too.
Yeah.
Like, what a nice thing. Or like, yeah, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, whatever. And then I just performed my tasks this afternoon, and then I came home and I made dinner for my girls, and then I did a little Thich Nhat Hanh meditation before we got on here, or tried to anyway. There were some interruptions, but and there were, I was chuckling to myself halfway through it because there were lots of golden moments.
Golden moment being coming back to your breath. Yeah.
It was, yes, coming back to the breath because my thoughts have wandered off.
Yeah.
And so this meditation was rife with golden moments, dozens of them.
A lot of gold in that.
But then it got, and then it got, I started to laugh about, like, boy, you're banking it tonight. And then it got to the part where it's, it's smile to your difficulties. Yeah. And that is such a practical, it's just weird how well that works.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have all these difficulties, all these things that are causing, my mind's just racing like motherfucker. And right. And then we'll smile to it.
Hey, okay.
And then it's like the scene in one of the Harry Potter movies where the kids are confronted by their worst fears. And one of their worst fears is like this clown. And then they say the spell and the clown just sprouts like a clown. No, it's like the evil, or it's like some evil thing. And then it turns into a clown.
Or it's like Ron Weasley really is scared of spiders. So there's a big spider. But when he says the spell, it's got roller skates on, and it's hilarious.
Yeah. And that like smiling to the difficulties really actually kind of has that effect.
So let me ask you this. This is a little meditation inside baseball. When you do that, and it's not just, I mean, Thich Nhat Hanh didn't invent that. I don't think it's called something. I forget the name of the actual kind of meditation it is. When you come to that point where it says,
I call it the fuck you.
The fuck you, man. When you're doing the fuck you smile meditation, do you physically smile when you do it? I have to know. Yeah. Good.
Yeah, I physically smile. I try to, and even sometimes just it's not like a smile, say cheese thing. It's just a relaxing of the face muscles, and like, that it's the Mona Lisa smile.
It is, because when I've done that in moments of great fire in my gut, it's like you lift the corners of your mouth a little bit and smile to whatever shit show's happening. It's like, it's kind of like, this is the cosmic joke. Like, this is me getting sucked into this is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, the problem's still there.
I think that might actually be the spell in Harry Potter.
Oh, Riddiculoso.
Yeah, something. I think that might actually be
it. It is. Huh.
Well, see, that's perfect then.
You smile to it, and it's like, oh yeah, this is all.
Oh yeah.
This is just a movie that I'm watching.
Pretty much.
I
happen to be, in the non-enviable position of being like Carrie getting the fucking goat blood dumped on her.
I thought of like Dr. Emmett Brown when he finally gets all the electricity hooked up for Back to the Future, at the clock tower, and then it comes undone and he's screaming and the car's coming down like sometimes you're in that, you gotta smile to that.
You gotta, oh boy. It's a lot easier to smile with that when you're in the audience eating popcorn.
But I think that's what we're working towards in meditation.
Oh, that's right.
Is to like,
we're in the audience.
Yeah, to like not necessarily detach from. Well, I guess it is to detach. It's not to like passively just stick our head in the sand. It's to
Right.
welcome more and more the observer in us.
Yes.
That we're not the victim of our circumstances, but we are observing the circumstances and therefore may have a little more clarity and widening of what's actually possible.
I literally, while I was in the middle of one of my golden moments, I had the thought, because I really I know I was going to do this with you, and I'm like, I just need to do something. Don't just do something. Sit there,
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I thought, okay, fine, I'll go meditate. And about like halfway through it, I was like, why my spiritual bypass isn't working?
Who'd have thought? I did a meditation similar to that, but it was a little different, but it was basically, it was a step for, it was like, it was a noting meditation, but it was like this morning, it was like, how did it go? Something like observe your thoughts and notice the ones that keep coming up. Now, can you observe those cyclical thoughts and breathe even there? Can you be with that and not get carried away? Can you see the pattern? And I was like, and the teacher was like, is it worry? Is it stress? Is it anger? Is it hope and wishes and future? And I just realized that, like, I keep going to these worrying about what other people think of me, and that's a well-worn path. And it was just an extra level to that of like, instead of just smiling to it, like, okay, what's the pattern here? What do you keep going back to? And not necessarily, not even why. Why doesn't matter. Just what do you keep coming back?
What is it?
Can you breathe with that? Can you observe that? And it was like, oh, I saw a pattern right away.
See, that's interesting, because I've been like in the morning when I'm stepping in the shower or whatever, I'll have those cyclical thoughts. They just short things that just repeat, and I will catch that. But I'm more like, okay, we're not going to do that now. I'm going to focus on I'm going to be mindful of my shower,
right?
But that's interesting about maybe breathing with it and see what is happening kind of behind it.
A little bit. It's like tricky because I don't think the point of it is to like grab onto that like my dog with a toy and just tear it apart. It's like what is, I mean, what I observed, I'll be vulnerable and say what I observed is I often go to this storytelling place of, what my coworkers are thinking and their judgments of me and whether I'm doing things right or wrong. And I go to the scenario where either I tell them all to go kiss off or I fix everything and I'm the hero, but I sit there and I kind of churn on, like that is a well-worn path in my brain. And what is maybe an alternative to that, or what is the relief of that, I guess is the next level. But yeah,
I'm not there yet.
I don't.
But I totally get that, like the intrusive cyclical thoughts of like, well, and then they'll say this.
Yeah. And then I'll say this.
Well, maybe, or it might just be, they'll just keep like, it could just be that short of a thing with me.
Yeah.
Just like playing that. It's like a skipping record. And I have to kind of break out of that.
Yeah. That's interesting. I don't experience that. I experience, I'm going to have full blown conversations with people that aren't there in the car.
Oh, I do that too.
Just full blown arguments out loud.
That's something that's so fun. I just love that thing of, that was the topic today, I think, was like, resentment's real or imagined. It's like being upset about something that didn't even happen.
Oh yeah. I was talking to our mutual friend Laird.
actually raised blood pressure, sweating, exasperated over a situation that didn't happen.
I was talking to our mutual friend Laird about this, and he was talking about how we should get him on
here.
It's in the void. It's the things that we kind of identified with each other. It's like the times of uncertainty or unknowns of like, I will fill in the gap. And that, like that's where I put all that is in the stuff I don't really know or can't know. And so I will get angry and fill in that gap. I will color in all the lines and all the space between, and then get mad at the drawing I made.
And see, I think this is just a hypothesis. I'm basing this on nothing, but I have to imagine that there are people that when they fill in the gaps, it's like they're just happy and there's rainbows and like a nice meal
and everything works out and
everything works
and
out.
I'm not even maybe even more weird is that I bet there are people that don't even put themselves in that story.
Whoa.
Like they paint a positive story and they're not even in it.
They're not even in it. The world is just going along being great or being at least like okay. Yeah.
That they're not the hero of it. They didn't ruin everything.
The villain. They just and they don't have to save and they don't have to ruin it and they don't have to do any. It's just there and they just get to enjoy like it.
Tripping on other people doing well. And they're not even there.
And being happy about it. Yeah. And they're just happy that everybody's doing well.
Fuck those people.
Exactly. Speaking of, we saw Barbie this weekend.
Oh, shit. Let's talk. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, I loved it. I thought it was great.
It was great, huh?
It was great.
I mean, without being too...
I felt I was walking out of it and I almost texted you guys being like, I feel attacked. Like that movie, they should stop free speech.
They hate men. That's all that movie is about hating men and forcing everybody to be women and like the color pink and to be a woman. Right. That's what that movie is about, and I won't watch it or believe it.
Right. It's like the guy stomping and dragging his girlfriend out of Roger Waters.
Oh, yeah. We can't.
I paid hundreds of dollars for this bullshit.
Same guy.
Isn't
that I had some pretty cool reactions internally to that movie, which was like it was just really sort of surprisingly hilarious. And like they said some pretty subversive things just right out in the open for what could be packaged as a kid's movie.
Right, not.
But the other thing too was like just made the any person, but specifically most of the loudest people about this, that the loudest people that have criticized that movie have been very scared men.
Right.
It's like as soon anybody that's yelling about that movie being emasculating or man hating or whatever, it just proves the point of the movie.
100%. Right. That's what's so great about it. Like you're literally just proving the point.
You look like Ken with that fur coat on and the bandana, just like trying really 100%. Hard.
Why don't you just get in your F-250 and just go to the shooting range? Because
you're always going to chase something validating you, and it's never going to be enough. And until you validate yourself, you're going to be a mess to be around.
Right. I'm not a mess.
I'm Ben Shapiro.
I got guns in a truck.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, I like. There was so much going on in that movie too.
Got to see it again. Yeah, I agree. Like though it moved pretty quick, moved right through,
moves through quick,
and there was a lot to unpack in there, and I loved Weird Barbie. Just they called her Weird Barbie, like those, like you and Joel and Dave and some other people. You guys are my weird. Yeah, Barbies. We all have the Weird Barbie house, and I'm perfectly happy in there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Uh-huh. What did your girls think?
They loved it. Yeah. They thought it was great. And I, you know, as a parent of two now teenage daughters, like I thought it was just awesome that they get to watch that instead of like, I don't know, whatever fuck thing they would have been foisted upon them in the 80s.
I was thinking like Pretty in Pink.
Or like 16 Candles.
Or Earth Girls Are Easy.
Yeah, sure. Or like any number of, you know, teen sexploitation flicks.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Well, we turned out okay.
Or the Barbie. Yeah, we turned out just fine.
Dazed and Confused.
Right. Well, yeah. No, I watched that with Gianna.
Yeah, that is a little more.
I mean, that movie has it like doesn't glorify whatever bimboism.
It doesn't. You're right.
Yeah.
It certainly has that trope of, you know, all men want to do is drink beer and get laid.
That not all of them though.
That's true. Because yeah. Andy. I mean, like Anthony Rapp's like character. Yeah. Those guys. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to have a visceral experience.
I just want to dance.
Yeah. Well, it's like, no, I want to, like, those guys are like living their lives, man. We're just like thinking about it. I want to have like something visceral.
And then he goes and punches the biggest dude at the party.
Yeah, right. Perfect. Yeah, like I thought that was awesome. You know, watching that as an adult is a very different experience.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you saw the Barbie. I think it's like I think it's a significant thing that movie rose above all of the noise and streaming shit and like this, that it was a cinematic, you know, success.
It's a record breaker.
And it was the first,
like $1 billion. Did it hit that?
Yeah, it did hit $1 billion, and it's the first film directed by a woman to get over $1 billion in box office sale.
Yep, and that's not. I don't know if that was done on purpose, but it's not an accident.
Correct. Right.
Like it absolutely has struck a nerve in this nation. Like we're kind of just sick of you assholes.
Yeah.
You guys suck.
Yeah. It's like this zeitgeist experience of sort of, you know, the patriarchy having this really kind of pathetic last gasp is kind of
and it lays that
totally
bare. Yeah, it exposes that the emperor has no clothes.
Ken is not wearing any clothes.
He doesn't have any genitals to cover anyway, but
I loved too just how there was a lot of CGI, but like I saw this behind the scenes thing of that. Like when they traveled between Barbie world and the real world, that was all like actual sets, like mechanical moving waves and mountains behind them, and all that was like an actual theatrical set.
That's so cool.
Like, dude, they spent some coin and some time making that, and they could have easily done it with CGI, but she wanted it to be real, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
what's that woman's name? The director, writer, person. Right. I really feel Greta
Gerwig. Thank you.
Yep.
Mad props to Greta.
Yeah. Yeah.
What else has been going on? I saw a couple of cool concerts this weekend.
Yeah, how was the thing last night?
Well, starting off on Friday, I went and saw Mavis Staples, Ziggy Marley, and Trombone Shorty.
Trombone Shorty I saw open for the Chili Peppers in 2017.
He is a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, yeah, big time. He's awesome.
I kind of was like, well, I can understand why Mavis came out early. And there was a band before her, and I'm horrible. I don't remember the name of that artist, but he was fantastic. His band was fantastic. It was kind of like Ben. He had a lap slide that he put through distortion, kind of like Ben.
Oh, was it Robert Randall?
Yes.
Yeah, I love Robert. He's great.
So great. Mind-blowingly good. And then Mavis Staples and her band come out, and Mavis Staples is 84 years young and just killed it. But I understand why she was kind of put early on, you know? And then Ziggy came out. I was like, why is Ziggy before Trombone Shorty. I'm like, I don't get this. And then 3 seconds into Trombone Shorty set, I was like,
that's why.
That's because they're going to ear fuck us for 45 minutes and we're all just going to leave like we got punched in the mouth.
Right. Yeah. And love it.
And want more. Like that was the thing when he signed off and curfew hit. I was like, dude, I could listen to more of that. I mean, I'm exhausted, but I could listen to a lot more of that. And it was also really special. I mean, to hear Ziggy play Ziggy's songs, I mean, his musical abilities are fantastic, but to hear his voicing his dad's songs, it was like, oh, wow. Like he sounds a lot like Bob. So that was cool. Mm-hmm. And that was just an all night, like, buffet of awesome.
Right. I should have gone to
that. And then last night, Big Head Todd and the Monsters opened up for Blues Traveler. And like Blues Traveler for me, like I have a special place in my heart for early 90s Blues Traveler. I kind of got into them before that huge album 4 came out. And I know I sound like a total hipster, but I really loved their third album a lot. And I really dug them. Like I was a member of their fan club and I would get their newsletters and shit. And so it was really cool to see them play and to see John Popper play their harmonica. It was just, that was special in and of itself. Played a couple tunes I really love, like Carolina Blues was one that they played like a 10-minute version of. It was great. But they played a lot of covers and they didn't have a long set. And I was like, guys, like, you know,
why, like what?
So covers? They played a weird, funky cover of Radiohead's "Creep," which I thought was kind of interesting, but it was kind of like,
kind
of a waste of time. Like you don't need to do this. It wasn't that interesting. And then they played "The Devil Went Down to Georgia," and then picked up the last verse later, which you know, like he played the he played the fiddle solo on the harmonica, which I guess kind of fits. And then they played Mary Jane's Last Dance, or Last Dance with Mary Jane by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. It's like,
good song,
because I mean, all of your songs, Blues Traveler, have a harmonica in them. You don't need to cover a song with a half-assed harmonica in it. And then there was another cover. I was like, guys, you have like 7, 8, 9 albums of fantastic music. You could do what Pearl Jam does and switch it up every night, and your fans, who you hope are buying these later,
your actual fans,
like,
weird. See, that's the thing.
I love them. It was great to do it. I'm glad I went, but I was also kind of scratching my head on the way.
Like, why didn't you own your?
Why didn't you own your shit?
Yeah, that's weird.
Because, like, I sent you some of those. You know, we were bantering back.
That album you sent me is fire.
Yeah, and that was a later record that I had really great experience with.
Like it, I was like, oh my god, I had no idea.
It's complicated. It's interesting. It's wild. I'm like, you could play roulette with your.
It's melodic. The like messages are spot on. It's just cool.
Like, yeah, you could put a whole set together where you do sprinkle in the hits that people know, but throw in stuff.
I'm quitting cigarette smoking. It's bad for me, but
they played a great version of that. And
cool.
That was great. But I don't know. It's just like there was covers that I didn't think. I don't know. I was like,
another one?
I don't get it. Like, I don't get why you needed to cover that many songs. And I was texting with our friend Allie Schwanebeck because they were there too, and she's like, what do you think? Because I think they were there to see Big Head Todd, which I really don't have a lot of history with. So they're good. It was
good walking around music.
It was good walking around music. I was like, they're a really good, blues bar band to me.
Sure.
Anyway, there was so much like special things that Blues Traveler could have done that they didn't do, and it kind of made me scratch my head. But I'm like, well, I guess they're gonna play whatever they want to play. But that's kind of been the set list. I kind of looked back on a few of their shows this tour. I'm like, that's kind of what they've been doing, and I'm like, guys, you have so much shit to play,
so much,
but
so much room to play.
Yeah.
Well,
it was okay. I mean,
they're like when I was in California, that their first album, no matter where we were going, no matter what the road trip was, that was the first thing that got played in the car.
Nice.
Every time for 2 years. It was great.
Yeah, that kind of
Got to see him a couple times.
Yeah, good road tripping music. You know,
mm-hmm. I don't know why that became the law. It just was. You know, but yeah, I saw them in would have been summer '92 at a bar in Lake Tahoe.
Nice.
They were awesome. It was fantastic. And then like a couple weeks later, I saw them open up for the Allman Brothers at Cal Expo, and that was less. I mean, they were great, but it was they struggled in a small stadium environment to cover the sound just wasn't that great, and people were kind of like, "Fuck is this?"
Yeah. It was funny though, because like it was a really mixed bag of people that were there to see Blues Traveler, and then the other half of the crowd was there to see Big Head Todd. There was like my row was empty for Big Head Todd and the Monsters, and then these people kind of stumbled in. They're like, "We totally fucked up, man. We thought that Big Head Todd was playing second. We were out in the parking lot drinking." I was like, "Well, this is why these guys are why I'm here." I'm like, "You don't like Big Head Todd?" I'm like, "I don't really know them." It was, I don't know. It was one of those shows. It was kind of one of those shows where I kind of wish I hadn't bought a really nice ticket and just bought a cheap one and kind of walked around and enjoyed it. But I was kind of like thinking about how much I spent, and I was like, ugh, like I should have got a cheap ticket.
Oh, so you had my Guns N' Roses experience.
Not as bad though. Not as bad. Because I'm like, I should have just bought a cheap ticket, walked around, stood on the side.
Because I've had, just hang out and party. Yeah. It's good walking around music.
Walking around music.
Because that's the thing about because I've Blues Travelers kind of come through every once in a while. They played in Omaha a couple, 3 years ago. And it's always been like, for some reason, for 20 plus years, I've always been like,
yeah,
with them, because it's always it kind of has that vibe. It has I don't know, it'll probably be good walk around music vibe, which is kind of a bummer because I know, and look, I'm not bashing on Blues Traveler. They're having a good career. John Popper's healthy, looks great. Like more power to him. But I also don't feel like, I'm going to really miss something if I miss them.
And that's the thing. I didn't know that about them. And that was the thing I kept thinking about was, when you go to the mountaintop and you see the Dead, or you see, in my opinion, Pearl Jam totally blows your mind with something they haven't played in 20 years out of nowhere. It's kind of like you're like the fact, that's what I was thinking. I was like, the fact that the bands that I love are still able to fucking do it like that.
Right.
It speaks to the fact that like that's the exception, not the rule. Like Blues Traveler played the rule. They played the rule.
And that's I saw them, the last time I saw them was at the little theater in the Omaha Civic Center in 95. And that was like the old school Blues Travelers before their bass player died, the original bass player. So they're just 4-piece band, and they came in, they shredded the joint. And it was like, whoa, my friend and our past guest, Brian Scott, was there with me, and it tore his head off, because in fact, I remember going into that, like the only real concerts he'd seen before that, like I think the last one he said was like Aerosmith.
Oh. Right.
Very different thing.
Yeah.
There
were moments though. I mean, there were moments on their jams where they kind of got a little weird, which I thought was like, oh, this kind of perked me up. Like they kind of got weird.
Like, are we going to go over the edge?
And they kind of did, and they got pretty jammy for a bit, which I really appreciated. But I kept thinking about what I guess.
But that's the thing is like, if they also have the Big Head Todd and the Monsters crowd, they can't jam.
They want 4 minutes blues songs and the next 4 blues songs.
Yep.
And then,
Yep. Exactly. And don't take it too far outside, because that's not why we're here.
Yeah. Yeah, if they were matched with somebody a little more out there, you know what I mean?
Well, like they played the Horde tour in 94. Like
and they had like them and like Spin Doctors and Fish. And they were in their kind of weird element.
Fuck the Spin Doctors.
Hey, man.
Yeah, I said it.
Wow. That's a guilty pleasure of mine. I'm going to say it. I did like the Spin Doctors back in the day.
Whatever. Yeah, it's because you're 10 years younger than me.
That's true. They were weird. They were weird MTV. Thing. They were MTV weird. You know what I mean? They were.
That's what I'm saying. They weren't. They were mall. They were. They were like Hot Topic weird.
Man, I'm gonna send you their song "Refrigerator Car."
I don't care.
Fuck you, dude. You need to listen to that. Just trust me. If you listen to,
fine, send me the song.
I'm sending you the song right now. You can send me.
I don't want it right now.
I'm doing it right now.
We're talking here.
I'm going to send you the song Refrigerator Car by the Spin Doctors, and you can send me can send me whatever Frank Zappa song you think I need to hear. How about that?
Nobody needs to hear. You don't deserve Frank Zappa.
You're right, I don't, because I'm sending it to you right now.
Whatever.
I liked the Spin Doctors.
I was knee deep actually in the Dead when that Dread dude, doing on MTV. I'm like, shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up.
He definitely kind of like if he could Google at the time.
Don't we have a white guy with dreadlocks around here?
The Hot Topic, like let's mix grunge and hippie right now in 1993.
That's the nexus. And that was they're looking through the Rolodex and they're like, wait a minute, what was that? Spin.
Right.
You up the Spin
Call
Doctors.
Central Casting and see if they have somebody that's mixed of like the Seattle grunge and a hippie guy. Can we get those two together?
Right. Right.
I still got love for the Spin Doctors.
Whatever. I can't judge. I mean, I still like Bon Scott era AC/DC, so what are you gonna do?
But that's almost like it's like revered now. Like that's not weird to like. Like if you listen to that era AC/DC.
I tell you, did we talk about that cover band I saw?
No,
have we had that conversation?
Maybe I don't remember.
They were terrible. I was kind of excited. I'm like, oh sweet, like an AC/DC tribute act, free show. I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna go check that out. That'll be fun, They were awful. I'll say it. It was so painful on so many levels. The sound was painful. I mean, I'm like, okay, this is loud. It's AC/DC. It's supposed to be painfully loud, but it wasn't. It was like,
was it good?
It was so bad. Like they technically played the notes, but like it was almost complete. I told you this. I think it was like they'd seen pictures of AC/DC but never watched any videos. Like the Angus Young guy had the suit on, but he literally stood there and played the solos.
Oh no.
I'm like, no, dude,
They're a whole ethos. You have to take on the ethos, man.
And the singer was squarely Brian Johnson, and I'm like, I've never liked Brian Johnson in AC/DC.
Mm-hmm.
Like Back in Black was pretty good, and I'll listen to For Those About to Rock, the first song, But beyond that, after I'm like, whatever.
It's like it would be like having a Ramones cover band, but they're all wearing like baggy cargo shorts or something,
something. I mean, it was just like it just didn't. I'm like this, like it. It was just missing energy.
That's a problem. We're trying to play AC/DC.
And it was also right. I mean, it was very loud, but like Malcolm Young. I mean, you watch a video of him playing the rhythm guitar. The guy that was doing the Malcolm parts was just kind of standing there strumming the guitar
politely
with a lot of distortion. And it was really loud, but he was just kind of strumming. I'm like, no, dude, you fucking attack that Gretsch.
Yeah.
Right. And the background vocals, they sung them. They didn't yell them. They sung them. Done dirt cheap. Like what the
dirty deeds done dirt.
I mean, it really kind of it was just like you don't understand AC/DC at all.
So that just gives me an idea. We should do a lounge act AC/DC with a piano and an upright bass.
Well, that Postmodern Jukebox already does that.
We can do. I mean, but we stay to AC/DC songs.
And then one final point, just while I'm on a roll here. Like this was like a family party. Like this guy hired this band to play his birthday party. And like there were kids there and stuff. And to give them points, they had little light up horns that they were handing out to the kids.
Okay.
Like I'm like, oh, that's cute. But then they hand out the horns and then played like, what do you do for money, honey? With on the scrim behind the stage, like strippers.
Nice.
There's like 8-year-old girls there. I'm like, man, that's maybe a time to deviate from the set list.
To be fair, they gave them devil horns. I mean,
I understand, but I mean, like, and see, that's kind of where it gets into the caricature piece. It was like MTV Satanism, or whatever, like just a product, It wasn't in the Bon Scott days. It was like that was legitimate Sin City.
So in the rooms where the secret meetings are held, we say things like, if you've got a resentment, you should, do something about it. So does this mean that you're going to start an AC/DC Bon Scott era tribute band and really do it, or what?
No, I'm just going to judge from the sidelines.
Just say, you're already in a very good tribute band. You might as well that's the next step.
That thought has crossed my mind.
You can book gigs. I mean, I feel like everybody would want to hear that after a Husker game, no matter who they are. Like, I would hear that. Anybody would go.
Right.
The drunk people from Hastings would come here. Everybody'd be.
It's
AC/DC is the uniting thread that's going to fix this red state, man.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying.
That's so funny. Hey man, I have an SG.
That's what I'm saying. It'll fix it. You can fix it. You can fix it with rock and roll, with AC/DC specifically, because I feel like everybody would get down with that.
Here's the
everybody would get down with that.
Okay, you know that like they really, really, actually, truly believed that in the late '60s.
So great.
How'd that work out?
Maybe now.
But maybe if I did it.
I'm just saying, maybe it won't fix the politics, but it at least will carve out this little niche of people that don't really care who you voted for. You're just there.
Don't really care. Yeah. Let there be songs. Let there be AC/DC to fill the air.
Let there be rock.
It's already been
It's said. A rock and roll damnation, man. That's all I'm saying.
Now, see, that's a song.
That's a song.
Yeah. Yep. I had a thought. It just went away. I got all caught up in rock and roll damnation.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's a good idea, because it derailed whatever fuck thing you're.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like the AC/DC tribute act playing at like the Rock the Dock or whatever on Football Saturday.
Yeah.
Whoever's singing it have to put an armadillo in their trousers.
I'm just going to let that sit there. Well, didn't they used to play Thunderstruck? Don't they do that? No, that's Enter Sandman.
Yeah, probably.
I think they played Thunderstruck too when the defense came out.
Probably.
It's great.
Sure.
You got to tie like whatever the tribute band's name is that's AC/DC related. You got to weave in a Husker reference too. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know if you want to quit your job and play rock and roll, but
I don't actually. Like literally, like I don't want to do that. Although today, like yesterday, this time I was like, why do I like what? Why? Like, is this worth it? And today I feel a little bit better. It's like, well,
time to make the donuts.
Kind of, but it's it's like I just want to play music and be happy.
I'm going back to teaching tomorrow. This is semester eve for me, and
that's cool because my girls are going back to school tomorrow.
The emails have already started, man. And
oh
I'm
boy.
Like,
oh boy,
I got to find a way to live out of my Sprinter van with my dog and my wife. I got to figure it out.
Right. Make it a nice Sprinter van. You're gonna need. It's gonna be at least $200,000.
Yeah, but I also need steady income so that we can, like, I don't know, roll up to a Hilton every once in a while.
Well, sure. Yeah.
Got to figure it out, man.
Got to figure it out.
I got to start a cult. I think that's how that. I think you just have to. We've
talked about that for years. Maybe I actually ought to do that.
Like that's.
I mean, we're kind of keeping. We kind of have. We kind of have the in on that.
Yeah. I mean, we could do it. We have. If anybody's been listening from day one, send us an email at ttbbpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know that you've just been listening from the beginning, because I feel like you are our inner circle. That's all I'll say. I'm just going to put that out there right now. That you actually, if you've been listening since day one, just consider yourself, the
special enough that we would accept your Patreon contributions.
Yeah, that you're special to us, and I feel like maybe we have some truth to give you, so that we can change the world and save it. I don't know. That's just a thought.
Through ACDC tribute acts.
That's the face of it. You know what I mean? That's the storefront. That's the jewelry store of the real operation. We're starting.
Have you watched Only Murders in the Building?
Yes, I love that, and I know there's a new season, so don't say a word.
Well, I'm about I would say 7/8 through the first season. Oh my
God, it's so good.
I had to stop watching it last night. I had to turn on something benign because it got so. I'm like, oh my God, I just have to stop.
It's so good.
It's so good. Steve Martin, he's such a good writer.
Steve Martin and Martin Short together. What's perfect about it is Selena Gomez sort of being the straight, quote unquote, straight man. She's the one that's like,
yeah, totally. Uh-huh.
You guys are fucking idiots. It's perfect.
It is perfect. She's so
super good.
She's super good. I had no idea. She's like the most followed woman on Instagram.
Yeah, I don't follow her, so I don't know.
Well, you should apparently.
All right, I'm gonna follow her right now.
You should.
I'm gonna, Steve. And you
Ladies
should.
And gentlemen,
listen
Joel's
to the
abandoning all of us for Instagram. Again.
What's that?
Nothing.
I don't even know how to spell Selena.
Selena.
Holy smokes, she's got 427 million followers.
That's what I'm saying.
She now has one more. I did it.
I'm sure you just made her day. She's probably just got a little spring in her step.
She is going to follow me back, and I'm going to be on.
With those kinds of numbers, maybe we should get her on the pod.
Selena Gomez, I would just like to extend this official invitation, and I will tag you in our next post. I would like for you to join us on the podcast if you would.
And you can bring along Steve Martin Short if you want to.
You have to. That's totally fine. And we'll talk about your acting prowess and the new show. So get me back. At Trying to Be Better podcast on Instagram. Okay.
Trying to Be Better podcast.
Yeah, that's the name of it. I'm pretty sure. Yep.
It is.
I don't even know. Trying to Be Better podcast.
It's Trying to Be a Better podcast.
Well, I'm excited to listen to your episode of Guess the Year.
Oh, Guess the Year. Yeah, that's fun. It was fun. It'll be up on the 28th.
The 28th? God damn it. That's next week.
Tell me about it. I know it's like a long time from now. That was fun. I genuinely love playing that game.
I cannot wait to find out whether or not you won. So
it's so much fun.
If anybody,
it's the Tournament of Champions. It was hardcore. Like,
no punches were pulled.
No, no. But it was. I mean, it's the coolest thing about it is it's like everybody wins.
Yes,
not everybody gets the prize, but
everybody gets to listen to the Grateful Dead and talk about what they know about the Grateful Dead. What's wrong with that?
It's wonderful. It's so much fun. It's just fantastic. And Mike, the host, is just a super cool dude, and I exchanged an email with him. Well, I know I kind of gave him he gave us a very nice plug. He gave the Trying to Be Better podcast a very nice plug and said that he enjoyed the show and blah blah blah. And so he asked me about it. I'm like, yeah. And I just kind of commented. I'm like, we haven't tried to monetize it because then it'd start to feel like work. And then I said, maybe you can relate, Mike. And he made a comment like, yeah, I'm not in the black on this thing. Yeah. He's like, I'm not, this is not, he's, and then I was walking the dog later and I felt kind of bad. I'm like, fuck, I hope I didn't come off like an asshole because weirdly I can do that sometimes. No. So I just emailed him to say, hey man, I hope like that didn't come off bad. I was, like, I love what you're doing and I hope you get rich, however you want to get rich off of it. I'm here for it. And he emailed back. He's like, yeah, no, I get it.
He seems like a cool dude that takes some shit,
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. And I said, Joel and I periodically talk about doing a Patreon, and the reality of the situation is that we're just not organized enough to do it.
That would take too much of my 15 minutes that I don't think I can spare in a day. You know?
Yeah, it's a lot. I don't know. You got to fill out forms, and I don't know.
Yeah, we have to tell do we have to tell the feds? We have to tell the IRS.
I'm sure, you know, I mean, if we start making the Lambo money, probably yes.
I bet we could get enough Patreon subscribers to at least cover the hosting costs.
Yeah, speaking of,
I haven't ponied. I was gonna say I haven't ponied up in like 3 years.
I'll send you. Well, we have 2.5. I'll send you a bill.
Send me a bill. My half. I owe you money.
To be fair, my Zoom account is used for things other than this. But
that's fair. Okay.
Well, but not the Podbean
that's what
account,
I mean.
though.
Hosting.
You owe me money.
Yeah, you guys. Steve is putting in his hard-earned money, so you have this really awesome content. So. You should right. Venmo Steve for my half of
Venmo
hosting.
Steve. What is my Venmo anyway?
I'm a teacher in
Oh, you did. You texted me the song.
Yeah, of course. You got to listen to it, and I can't wait for you to hate it.
Whatever. Maybe
I'm thinking you'll like it.
Enough times passed, you know.
Yeah, I think another 10 years can go by. And I might be able to listen to a Bare Naked Lady song, but it's going to take another decade.
I have no interest in
they're
that.
Horrible.
I don't even know what my Venmo is. Oh, it's at Steve-Erbauer.
And my Venmo is at Joel-Egger. If anybody wants to kick in, I mean, it'll go to hosting the website. I mean, we're never going to know unless we ask, right? So at
right.
Steve...
At Steve-Erbauer, Urbaur.
At Joel.Egger. Maybe I'll send me a screen grab of your QR code for your Venmo, and we'll put it out there and see. I mean, people have been. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I pay for worse shit.
That's true. Look here, you ingrates. You've all paid more money for less. All of you, myself included.
I pay for less every day. I'm paying for a Y membership I don't use. Come on, guys, you can throw in. All right, I got nothing else. I love you, man.
I don't either. Nice
Good to see ya. Bye. Toot your hooter.
Bye. Toot your hooter.
Don't forget, toot your hooter.